Hey guys, and welcome to the Hobby News. Well, this week we've got some exciting new things from old GW. We've got some anniversary models, and finally, after 20 plus years, we've got some new Eldar Guardians, which is pretty amazing. So yeah, just like the Orc Boys, it's a bit of a monumentous kind of occasion, I guess. I never thought I'd see the day, but for Eldar players, they're going to be pretty happy, and it seems like they've been pretty faithful to the original designs and everything, so that's nice. But we'll take a look at that in a second. The first part, we've got these anniversary models that they're bringing out for 2022 for store anniversaries, so they're not going to be available exactly all at the same time. I think you have to look at when your local store is having its anniversary, and then they'll be available over that time. But we'll have a look down here. So it says, every year we like to commemorate the anniversaries of your local Warhammer stores with some celebratory miniatures, and the two for 2022 perhaps the best ever. They will both be available on the weekend of your store's anniversary and for the next 7 days afterwards. So you've got plenty of time to pop in and get your hands on them. Yep. So basically at the very bottom of this page, there's like a little store anniversary PDF, and it shows you all the stores around the world and when their anniversaries are. So if you're in Australia like me, you'll have a spot for that. If you're in UK or America or wherever, then you've got those there as well. But they are some pretty nice models. So let's take a look. This Inquisitor's pretty fun. I do like it. It's interesting. I'm wondering if they're going to have their own little unique rules. I don't know whether these anniversary models come with their own like data slate or war scroll or whatever. They might do, I don't know, but they're a pretty fun model. So the Automalius is dedicated to hunting and exterminating demons wherever they appear, and Erasmus Cartavolnus has been doing it for over 300 years. Despite his advanced age, this zealous Inquisitor still strides the battlefield in search of demonic quarry, and his knowledge of binding rituals is second to none. Yeah, so pretty fun little idea. Planting the sword into the book, and I guess I suppose he's nullifying the effects of this book, or maybe he's casting something from it. I'm not quite sure which, but yeah, it's a fun idea. I like the armor. It's very classic Inquisitor looking stuff. Reminds me a lot of the really old Inquisitor models from back in the day, from 20 years ago. There was a similar model to this, with this kind of hooded robe and these kind of segmented plate. Yeah, this feels like a sort of an updated version of that. I wouldn't be surprised if it was. But I don't know if anyone else remembers what I'm talking about, but there was a model. There's a few models. They had the ones with the swords that look like kind of bodyguard Inquisitor models. They weren't Inquisitors, but they were like a sort of a retinue model. I can't remember what they're called now, but this reminds me a lot of that stuff. So yeah, pretty fun. I'm sure it's a little bit bigger as well, which is nice. I like the paintwork on this is especially fun. Anyone that has been watching any of my videos knows how much I like blue to greens, and this is a nice blue-green blend going on right here, which is good to see. And his cape is done pretty well. We've got some embossed Inquisitor logos here and so on, which is fun. Yeah, overall, I can't see an issue with this. Anyone that's into Inquisition stuff will enjoy it. But yeah, I'd be curious to see if there's rules for them. And we're going to have a look at the AOS model in a second. But yeah, it's a fun model. I can see a few conversions possibilities here for other ideas if you wanted to use it. I mean, really, this could make a really great conversion for a word bearer's like Chaos Lord or something like that. There's definitely some word bearer vibes going on here if you wanted to like mix it up. Just get rid of the backpack, change it around a little bit, because this whole sword into the book with the sort of the demon flames coming out is pretty interesting. You could do a lot with that. But yeah, all in all, pretty fun models. So yeah, if your store's having its anniversary soon, you'll be able to pick that up, which is pretty cool. And then we've got this Gut Ripper boss. So yeah, not a bad one. Again, yeah, it's the riff on the, I guess, the other Gut Ripper boss on foot that they released. I'm pretty sure it's the same type, I think, but just a variant, I guess. Again, it'd be interesting to see if this one actually has rules. It kind of implies that it does, because it says here, it takes a wily creature to command the respect of the Kruleboy's Gut Ripper mob, and Hagok is always on the lookout for his latest would-be usurper to preemptively run through. Yeah, and then it says about his vulture. So it says, with a mostly tame vulture, keeping its beady eyes open for incoming threats. Yeah, so this could actually have its own rules. That'd be really fun. I don't know if, again, I don't know if these models often have their own rules, but it kind of implies this is going to have its own little war scroll, which would be fun. Something different for orc players that like these new swampy orcs, and having, like, I guess this, if it does have rules, this vulture might, I don't know, it might give him, like, maybe he fights first in combat or something like that, or some sort of buff to his combat skills. That'd be fun. But overall, it's a cool model. I can't see why you wouldn't like this if you're into Cruel Boys. Yeah, all good. Yeah, and it's a little unique. He's sort of standing a lot taller as well. He's not as hunched as the other one. So I'd be interested to see a side view of this and see how he's actually standing. It's a little bit of a departure from the normal Cruel Boy models. It doesn't feel quite the same, especially in the face as well. That's a very sort of Skeletor looking face there. It's not quite as orky as some of the other ones. So that's an interesting sort of departure. I'm curious to know when this was sculpted, whether it was sculpted along in the same design sort of cycle as the other ones, or maybe later, because it does feel like there's a different aesthetic going on with this one. He's taller, everything feels longer. He's got like a sort of more unique kind of spear that's not quite like the other ones. His helmet is a little bit different as well. It's very Shredder-like, in fact, a bit of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in there. There's a lot of elements on this that are kind of unique to this model, which is interesting. I'm wondering, maybe this was a variant that they chose to not do and then now decided to make it an anniversary model. I'm not sure. It does feel a little different though. I don't know what you think, but yeah, I'm seeing a different vibe here for sure. So yeah, pretty fun. So again, there's your store anniversary little PDF. You can look up your store and pick these up if you're interested. Out of the two, I think the Inquisitor's the more fun one here. I think he's got a lot of possibilities there. So I'd be interested to see the size of him, how big he is. But yeah, definitely a chaos conversion waiting to happen there, I think. So yeah, let's go and, speaking of 40k, let's go and have a look at these Eldar, because it's been over 20 years since they've had anything new. So I think Eldar players should be pretty happy with this. It's a very, very faithful design upgrade for them. It's just a cleaner look, basically. The details have been improved. Obviously the plastics are better now. They're obviously just a cleaner, crisper look, right? And obviously the heads are much better. The sculpting details are better overall. You're seeing all of the nice anatomy there in the face. Definitely an improvement on the old ones. Not to say the old ones weren't fine for their time. It was just a product of its age, right? Anyone that owns them, I think, the fact that these fit in very similarly, it's going to be good for your collection. You're not going to have to just, put them away. They'll still pretty much integrate, if you're transitioning over to new ones or whatever. But even if you don't, you can still use the old ones. There's no real problem there, Even the guns, the design of the guns are basically the same. I mean, this does just feel exactly like, you would expect Eldar Guardians to look, just a slightly more, upgraded version, right? With even the helmets are very much the same. There's very little changes, actually. Even in the micro detailing, a lot of these details are on the old models. It's just that these are cleaner. And I'm assuming slightly taller. I would imagine that these are a little bit taller than the old ones, judging by the way they're standing and so on. They definitely would be a little bit taller, but not really that much bigger in terms of anatomy and overall sort of shapes. They all seem in a similar level, just standing a little bit more upright maybe than the old ones. So yeah, you got some nice little face changes here, some differences. This is sort of, I think, a modern take on that old one that was in the kit, the headless one there. I'm pretty sure that's a little nod to the old face there, but obviously a much better sculpted face, so good on the sculptor for that one. Yeah, all in all, there's some running poses in here. I mean, yeah, I think you'd be very happy if you're Eldar to have this now, because it all looks pretty good, right? It's going to fit in a lot better with your army. You're going to be more enticed, I guess, to take Guardians. I know that these days basic troop types generally are not really a meme, but I guess they're not really the thing in 40k, are they? Like, at least for more competitive play, they're often, you're just taking them in minimum sizes, and they're used just for like objective holding or move blocking or doing various sorts of, I guess, like you have chaff units in AOS, right? That's pretty much what troop choices are in 40k generally. But that's okay. They're they're still cool, right? I can't see why you wouldn't like them. So that's great. And with those new Eldar that came in, that new box that's coming, yeah, it's a nice addition. You've now got those new scouts, and you've got the Guardians. I'm sure they're going to bring out some more kits. I know that these are all sort of upgrades of older plastic kits, but I'm sure they're going to redo some of the fine cast stuff as well. It would make sense. This feels like they're putting a little bit of effort in to modernizing more of the range. And much like with the orcs, they released a decent amount of orcs for the orc range, so that's good. And I can see them doing the same here. And we see like a little group shot here. So, overall, yeah, great. It looks like you get like a different option here for your Guardians as well. So it's let's see, Guardian Defenders, yep, and then you got Storm Guardians. Yeah, so yeah, it looks like you've got some good options in there. And again, the other box set they released, like it's remaining faithful, right? A lot of those designs, everything feels like it's just integrating into what you already have. So I think that's a great move. I'm definitely all for maintaining the heritage and the history of the game. I think that that's important, and I think that those types of nods are a crucial element to upgrading a lot of this stuff, because it's so iconic and it's been with us for so long. Like many of you, I'm sure, like myself, I've been in this hobby for over 30 years. Like to see it just flip on its head and be something totally different would be a shame, because that's you're building traditions, you're building a lot of its own internal kind of mythos and legend around the models themselves, not even the lore or any of that, or the actual narrative or the IP, just the relationship that you have to these, because these are sculptures, this is art, these are made by an artist. And so to have that generation and that sort of that broad kind of spectrum of art through the ages and how it develops and grows, and it's like a body of work, like you're looking at an artist's body of work. That's how I feel like these factions should be and should grow and change over time. Yes, have differences. Yes, have new ideas, but not massive backflips. I think it needs to go in that nice steady progression, and it just feels better, So when you're looking back and you're looking into those older times, you can still relate to it. You can still see it, and new players can go back and take a look at that and see the journey. It doesn't just suddenly go from one thing to another. I really feel like that's an important element of all this. But anyway, I could waffle on for that for a while, so I won't bore you with all of those types of thoughts. But just something to consider, and I think that elder players should be pretty happy with this. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Please hit that like button, subscribe button. It really helps me out. And I guess I'll catch you on the next one.